Hi everyone, this is our good friend Jared Timms from Halo's Hangout, right? Halo's Hangout?
Talking Halos.
Talking
Same
Halos.
thing. There's too many
So,
of them.
too many of them. Yeah, there are too many Angels podcasts and vlogs. But Talking Halos, we were just talking. You do all the editing for the episodes, just like I do all the editing for my episodes. So, Jared, thank you for coming back and talking Angels. Um, we just got the news yesterday that the first round pick from last year is getting the call to make his debut today against the flailing Orioles. Probably the best team to get his debut, I would say.
Yeah, minus Colorado in Colorado, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean Colorado's got like 9 wins or something, but the best team in the AL East, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna play somebody in the AL East, it's got to be the Orioles right now for sure. Though it's still scary. Still a scary team. You never know. But yeah, that's a good pitching. That's a good pitching rotation to face for sure.
Definitely, yeah, they have good pitching, but their offense seems to be in trouble right now in the deep water. Um, as of earlier this morning, saw that the lineup is Neto, Shanero, Trout DHing. So Lair in right field, Hoppy is starting at catcher, Adele, Wade Jr. in left field, Renheefo at third, and then ninth is Christian Moore playing second base, where we had kind of expected him to play playing as second. But the other new name is Wade Jr. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown on him?
Yeah. Definitely an interesting bat. I'm intrigued to see if today's his first start in the outfield all season. He'd be playing first in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Doesn't hit very well against lefties, as he is a lefty. Hits pretty well against righties. So I haven't even seen who the Angels are facing today, but I'm gonna guess that they're facing a righty with Lamont in. But yeah, other than that, I mean, if you can put him in against righties, I think he's a career 120 WRC plus guy, so he's a good hitter against righties in his career. Doesn't hit lefties all that well, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, an interesting acquisition. Somebody who's having a rough year from with the Giants, and I know Giants fans are happy. I would assume they're happy that he's gone because he's been having a rough year. But somebody that could possibly have a change of scenery and start playing decently well, kind of like that Chris Taylor acquisition as well. We saw him kind of start off a little bit slow, but it seemed like Chris Taylor was starting to hit the ball pretty well before he went on the IL.
yeah, it was unfortunate to see him go on the IL. Just so we know, the matchup is Johanowicz for the Angels. He's got the Rock, and it's going up against Martin, who is 2-7 on the year with a 6.59 ERA. I would say that is a good pitcher to go up against for your first, at bats as an Angel or a major leaguer for that matter. And it is on Apple Plus. Just so you know, it's Friday night. They're doing this big old, Apple Plus game for today, and I would say it's fitting with more. Um, we saw Moore play. He started off at Rocket City, right?
Hmm?
Yeah, he did okay there, hitting, striking out quite a bit. I saw he had 40 strikeouts. Is that going to be an issue for us? Or are we going to see more swinging and missing a lot? Or just taking a lot of third pitches, third strike pitches?
You're taking a hand out of my playbook, or card out of my playbook, play out of my playbook. Wow. Here with this one. I like to temper expectations when anybody comes up, and so yes, like I think that we can assume that he's going to probably swing and miss quite a bit. More often, than not, unfortunately, at the beginning of his tenure here with the Angels, and fans are probably going to get upset with him. the biggest thing for me will be his defense, and to see how he handles Major League second base, and if he can slow the game down or if the game speeds up too quickly. We saw it last year with Jordan Adams, and the game got real fast for Jordan Adams really quickly. And Joe Adele, same thing at the beginning of his career, and a lot of youngsters, the game speeds up for him. It's a different game at the Major League level. So,
Mm,
we'll see if Christian Moore can slow the game down. Didn't look great in Rocket City, got promoted, and then absolutely took off
yeah,
in
it's kind of
in
rocking
Salt
and
Lake.
rocking.
Yeah, he was batting 350, I think, with one. I don't even know, I want to even guess. He had at least a 900 OPS. So yeah, he looked really good. I'm not concerned about the hitting by any means. I think he's going to be at least a 250 hitter at the major league level when it's all said and done. I think he's going to hit for some power. I think you're going to see some athleticism at the plate. It's going to be the defense, in all honesty, that I'm going to be watching very closely and see how he can make adjustments over the rest of the entire season and see how he works with Ron Washington.
Okay, so I mean, we've seen Tim Anderson, Kyle Paris, and Luis Rengifo play second base. Christian Moore, if he does play amazing second base defensively, do you think he's our guy for the rest of the season, or are they gonna switch him out? Platoon him?
I think if you're bringing Christian Moore up, if you're bringing a first rounder up, you're not bringing him up to platoon him by any means. I think that you got to give him every day at bats. If not, it's kind of a waste to bring up a bat like that. Though I've
I
said the same
agree.
thing. I've said the same thing about Reed Detmers in the bullpen, and all of a sudden he looks really, not all of a sudden, but he's looked really good. So I would assume that he gets every day consideration at second base for sure. I mean, he's a second baseman of the future. And yeah, I expect him to play there until they don't want him to play there anymore. If the game speeds up on him, then we'll see him not be at second base. We'll see him down in AAA or Double A again. If he can slow the game down and we see him hitting 250, hitting for a little bit of power, stuff like that, then I think that it's his spot to lose at second base.
Okay, so we're not expecting a lot of power out of Christian Moore, obviously. Like maybe 5, 10 home runs here,
I
15 if we're lucky.
I think that if at the end of the year he's still on the major league roster and he's hit 15 home runs and is batting 250, maybe 260 or something like that, let's say 240 to 260, then I think that I think that we're happy with that. Anything less, it's like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have brought him up. And then anything more than that, I think that we're talking about him being rookie of the year candidate, unless somebody else is
Definitely, yeah.
completely taken off. Because I think more than 15 home runs and batting 260 is going to get you some rookie of the year considerations. Just off the top of my head, I can't think of any other rookies right now that are going
Mm,
out there and crushing it.
neither can I.
Yeah.
As far as the draft, I mean, the draft is in July. It's next month. I saw your post on X, and there are like 4 people that listed names. They're all the same name. Who's that guy that we're looking at possibly?
Oh man. If is it my pick or is it the Angels pick? If it's
Let's
the
go
if
with your pick. What's your pick?
if it's my pick, I'm picking the best player available, and um that's either Ethan Holiday or Seth Hernandez. I believe those two are the best players in this draft. You can make an argument for Ava Arquette. You can make an argument for anybody else that they're talking about at the one. Whether that's Eli Willits, the shortstop, Reggie Willits' son, or if that's Liam Doyle, if that's Kate Anderson, Jamie Arnold, like you can make an argument there. I think that Holiday and Hernandez are better than anybody else and have a chance to be better major leaguers than anybody else in this draft right now. So, however, I am starting to get a little bit, you know, s- speculative about whether or not they should take a picture at two, looking at all the injuries that have happened, just in the past couple months. Jackson Jobe goes down with the elbow injury, and a lot of people are comparing Jackson Jobe to Seth Hernandez. And I know that like elbow injuries, it's a freak injury, but I mean, look at the Dodgers right now and how their rotation is, and
Yeah,
and
you're
so
right.
yeah, that's a risky pick there at two to give a guy close to $10 million. And I mean, maybe he doesn't make it to the major leagues because he gets hurt, or maybe, like he is up and down and he in 6 years with the Angels at the major league level, he pitches, I don't know, however many innings. So yeah, for me, you have to hit with this number two overall pick. And if it's
Definitely.
me, if it's me, I know I just said that I'm taking Holiday or Hernandez, but I'm also looking at a guy like Arquette because I think that's a safe pick. That's going to perform for you at third base as well. And Ethan
Okay.
Holiday,
Fantastic.
yeah, Ethan Holiday, same thing. I think that with Holiday, you can put him in Arizona for the rest of the year. Let him do his thing in Arizona in that nice $20 million complex. And then next year you give him a spring training invite and you put him in you put him in Rocket City and see what he can do in Rocket City. And all of a sudden, if he's playing really well at Rocket City at third base, then come July or August or I mean, heck, June this time, and we're talking about Ethan Holiday being the Angels' starting third baseman next year. And I mean, maybe the Angels are 5 games above 500, and all of a sudden they're bringing up the number five prospect in all of baseball, Ethan Holiday. I don't know, so that's kind of where I stand now.
Yeah.
Flip side, if it's the Angels, I think they're taking a left-handed pitcher, whether it's Liam Doyle, Cade Anderson, or Jamie Arnold. That's the direction I would put money on right now if I was a betting man and was in Las Vegas.
All right. So, betting man says left-handed pitcher for the
Yes.
Angels. And I totally do not disagree. I, I they had this fascination with college lefties and just or college pitchers in general. I don't know why. And if they did go with someone that was a college pitcher, I would definitely put them in Arizona League and then have them in that nice complex that they just showed off this past spring and develop them. They need development because something's going on where the pitchers are not panning out and all of the infielders are just doing fantastic. You got Shanerell, Neto, um, Ohapi. Odell's doing okay now in year five, but he's finally doing something. And then Moore, we'll see what Moore does. I think you said that we're gonna have 11 first round picks. Denard is a comp pick. I remember that. And 11 rounders or first rounders in our 26-man roster, which is quite amazing. You would think that would just have us in first place, but it doesn't. um, so Rendon, I'm looking at his contract right now. He's got next year and the year after that. So if we go for who was the third baseman that you named for
E-
the
Ethan Holiday or Ava Arquette?
Arquette? So give us a little bit more info on Ava.
He's a shortstop right now at Oregon State. I think that you move him to third base. He's I think about 6'5", profiles kind of like a Chris Bryant, Matt Chapman type of guy. Really good raw power, not the best bat to ball. He's going to swing and miss a little bit. I mean, if you want to say that he's kind of similar to Christian Moore, then that makes a lot of sense. I'd say he's more athletic than Christian Moore. Um, but yeah, I think that like if you're getting a Matt Chapman type of player at third base, somebody that's might hit 250 with 35 home runs,
Yeah,
that's going to play pretty good defense. Like I'm not upset about that at all, by any means.
and he's a right-handed hitter,
Yeah, ready.
so that would play perfect at Angel Stadium. You got that left, short left field, especially right there in the corner, and then the fence isn't extremely high and left center. So if it, and obviously Ethan's, it would just be really tough for me to see they'll leave the Nationals have the first pick, um, passing up on Ethan Holiday.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
it would be.
it's like you said, you take the best player that's on the board, and the best player on the board, number one, is Ethan Holiday. So I don't know. It would be lovely to have a chance at Ethan Holiday, but I'm not holding my breath. That's all I'll say.
You never know. You never know with the Angels and how they do things. That's been my approach this entire year. Is like I don't know. Like we'll go along with the ride because I have no idea. I don't know how they're close to being a 500 team right now. I'm gonna be honest there with you. So we're just going along with it. So you never know when it comes to Ethan Holiday. He might be there too. It comes down to money. It comes down to money in the first couple of
Yeah,
picks.
I noticed that.
Comes down to
Yeah,
money.
Skeens, he went down to Pittsburgh because of money. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, money is a huge factor when it comes to those first two, one of the three guys. Um, who else in the minors do you see that could be a factor for the Angels the rest of the season? Obviously, we're not going to make the postseason. We're not going to make the playoffs. That gift playoffs. Nah, that ain't happening this year, guys. And I said that at the beginning of the year. I didn't expect the Angels to be in the postseason at all. So give someone some reps, maybe trade someone and get some prospects like we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the like really interesting thing about the Angels in the playoffs this year. I think that if the Angels sell, they become a better team. As weird as that sounds. So like I think that like if the Angels were to it's gonna sound really weird. Okay, so you look at the bullpen and the Angels were to
Yeah,
The Angels sell Kenley Jansen and they decide, oh hey, we're gonna bring up Ryan Johnson or George Clausen, or we're going to bring up Samuel Aldegary, put those types of guys in the bullpen, and Reed Detmers is your closer. Are you losing much with Reed Detmers being your closer over
no,
Kenley?
you're not.
Besides playoff experience, not really, right? As weird as that sounds, plus your bullpen gets a little bit deeper as it is. Maybe you're trading like a Strickland, maybe you're trading a Brock Burke if somebody calls for a lefty reliever. But like the Angels have the bullpen depth to go in and be okay in the bullpen. As weird as that sounds. Sam Bachman's up, and the bullpen's already a lot of fun. Ryan Zefferson, Sam Bachman, Reed Detmers, Kenley Jansen, Brock Burke, like that's an okay bullpen right now. Like I know bullpens are volatile, but if the Angels make a trade, and I fully expect them to trade Kenley Jansen, if you bring up a guy like George Clausen, put him in the bullpen to replace Reed Detmers, and all of a sudden Reed Detmers is your closer, you're not losing much by any means. You can say the same thing about the starting rotation with a lot of those similar guys, right? You bring up a George Clausen, you bring up a Caden Dana because you traded Tyler Anderson, because you released Kyle Hendricks or something like that.
Yeah,
Is Caden Dana or Kyle or George Clausen or Ryan Johnson going to be better, if not the same as those starting pitchers that I just named? Like maybe Tyler Anderson, but Tyler Anderson's throwing out quality starts for you. Like I think that
yeah,
George Clausen could do that as well. So like the rotation stays very similar to what it is if the Angels make trades. And then you look in the field, and that's probably going to be some of the spots where it's like, all right, maybe you get a little bit less deep, but Christian Moore's already up. Luis Renifo is a piece that you trade. He's not playing all that well this year, right? So maybe you trade him. Maybe I mean, heck, maybe you might DFA him. I would assume you try to get a piece for him in July. But are you losing anything by playing Christian Moore over Luis Renifo at second base or Kevin Newman at second base? Probably not. I mean, third base, you're looking at Yohan Moncada, and maybe somebody takes a chance on him. He's been pretty injured this year. Like you're not
Yeah,
losing that much with Yohan Moncada. The biggest piece is going to be Taylor Ward if you do trade him, but you probably bring up a guy like Nelson Rada. You move Joe Adell over to the corner. Mike Trout plays right. Jorge Soler is DHing, or Jorge Soler is playing right field, and Nelson Rada is a true center fielder, probably one of the best defensive center fielders in the minor leagues. And you put him in the nine hole. Like, are you really missing that much in Taylor Ward's bat? Again, like as weird as it sounds, like I think the Angels could possibly get better. Plus the pieces you get back, like in a Kenley trade, all of a sudden you get another George Clausen and Samuel Gary back because that's what you got for Carlos Estevez, right? And then
yeah, yeah,
plus you have the draft. Like, what if you do draft Arquette and you want to put him at third base the rest of the year? Like, is Arquette better than Yohan Moncada? I would assume not, but I mean, a hurt Yohan Moncada, a healthy Ava Arquette's better
yeah.
than Yohan Moncada. So yeah, this is very wishful thinking. I understand that, but like I think that come July, August, the Angels are a better team then than they are now, and the Angels are playing 500 baseball now. So I don't know. Like, you don't rule out the playoffs by any means. I don't think they're going to do it, but weirder things have happened. Look at the Tigers last year, right?
Well, I mean, the Tigers are kicking ass right now, so um, I would say you don't lose much trading Taylor Ward and putting in Matthew Lugo in left field.
Exactly. Or Matthew Lugo. If you want to do say Matthew Lugo over Taylor Ward, instead of Nelson Rada. I just put Rada because I know the Angels need a center fielder.
Yeah, they do. They do. Um, so All Stars. Every team has to have a representative. Obviously, is it going to be a pitcher or are we going to have an actual position player representing?
That is a great question. I want to say Zach Neto because he's been unbelievable, but I don't know if it's going to be Zach Neto. I
That
want to
would
say
be
Nolan
awesome.
Schanuel because he's been good too. I want to say like Kikuchi or a bullpen guy. I don't know. Kenley maybe. It's going to be weird. It'll be somebody that doesn't deserve it, but you'll never know.
That's fair. Um, so I'm gonna guess Zach Neto, even though he has missed a lot of time at the beginning of the season, Zach Neto has put on a show, just straight up going out there, walking up, first at bat, bam, home run, just lead off home runs galore, and it's almost like watching Mookie Betts, honestly, with the leadoff home runs, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
No, the funny thing about it is that Angels are a really good hitting team on the first pitch. So Zach Neto going out there and swinging at the first pitch and hitting leadoff home runs, I'm not upset about, which really kind of annoys me because I always said Mike Trout should be the leadoff hitter because he can get on base, and if worse comes to worse, he's hitting you a leadoff home run, and the Angels are up 1-0, and Zach Neto's doing it quite a bit right now, and it's like, oh well, Zach Neto's a really good leadoff hitter. Well, Mike Trout could have been a really good leadoff hitter as well. But yeah, it's fun to see what Zach Neto's doing. He deserves him. He deserves. I don't know if he's going to get it. He should. The Angels might have like two or three All Stars this year when you look at it, because he deserves it. And I don't think that he's going to be voted in because of how good the shortstops are. But he could be somebody who's like the last vote type of guy, or somebody that Bobby Witt gets hurt or can't play,
Yeah,
and all of a
yeah.
sudden it's Zach Neto or something like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I think the Angels could have, at least one. They'll have at least one, obviously, but I think they could have two or three at the end of the day.
Okay, so that's fair. I mean, I get it with the very deep shortstop class that we have in the American League. Obviously, right now, Aaron Judge is leading for the AL MVP again. Um, I don't know how you feel about that, or if you have any alternatives to Aaron Judge for MVP.
No, I other than no, I there's nobody that's better than Aaron Judge right now. Joe Adell over the last 20 games or something like that has been just as good as, he's been second best, but like it's not even close. Like Aaron Judge is by far the best. We might be seeing like a historic type season, one that's gonna rival, not even rival. It'll be better than Shohei Ohtani's last year. It'll be better than Mike Trout's the Harper year a couple years ago where he was at an over
Okay.
10 WAR. I mean, he's hitting for power. And there's a chance, and I don't think he's going to do it, but there's a chance that he breaks Ichiro's hit record. Like I think he was on pace for 240 home runs. That'd be crazy. 240 hits.
Okay.
He's on pace for 240 hits or something like that, and the record's 262. Again, he's not close, but it's unbelievable that he's on pace for 240 hits. Oh, and he's also hitting for power. He's close to
Yeah.
a 400 hitter. I mean, we might see a triple crown type of thing. It's impressive what he's doing. He's the best player. He's the best player in baseball right
Yeah.
now
Last
by
Triple
far.
Crown was Miguel Cabrera, I believe, and
Yeah, I think it was.
over a decade ago.
Yep.
Um, that was actually Trout's year when he
Yeah,
just came up.
should have
I
been the
wanted
all.
him to win MVP that year, but obviously you can't argue with a Triple Crown. So
I can
uh,
argue with the triple crown all day. Trout was better that year. Trout.
okay,
I think Trout
he
was
had 50 something stolen
in
bases,
49 stolen
49.
bases, 29 home runs, batted 330. He was second in batting average. He had just as many home run, like not just as many. He almost had the same amount of home runs and played in 150 games. So yeah, I argue that. I argue that all day.
Okay, fair enough. Um, so we've talked more and expectations for more. Um, I kind of want to talk. What's the floor for more? I know that rhymes, but what's the ceiling? So what's our floor and what's our ceiling?
Um, Whatever his stats were at Tennessee, I think he stole 30 bases. I think he hit 30 home runs. I think that he was a 330 hitter. Like the ceiling for Christian Moore is one of the best hitters in baseball. Like it really is. Like I mean, one of the thing he could be the best second baseman in baseball, and that's with me not doing any research and looking at second baseman right now, but knowing that there's probably not a whole lot of good second basemen out there. He could easily be the best second baseman in baseball and be one of the best hitters in baseball if it pans out. I mean, he could hit 40 home runs, he could hit 45 home runs. He can steal bases, although he hasn't been doing it in the minors. Um, yeah, he's just a good all around hitter. I mean, he could hit 330 too if it all panned out as well. So the floor is him not being a major leaguer. Like at the end of the day, like him not being
That's
very good at
true.
all.
Very true.
So yeah, that's where that is. But he could be a very good baseball player. He really could. I don't know if we see it. I'm going to be the pessimist here, I guess, and say that he's a
That's fine.
240 to 260 hitter with that's going to hit you 25 to 30 home runs a year, and I'm not upset about that.
Uh, I mean, I say realist, not pessimist when it comes to the Angels. So you just got to be real when it's the Angels.
You never know. You never know. I've given up on trying to figure out what the Angels do. I just go with the flow at this point. It's like, all right, cool. Like they're gonna Christian Moore's gonna go out and hit a home run tonight for he's gonna hit two home runs in Baltimore if the game starts. I know it's in the rain delay, so we'll see.
All right. Well, that's our man. I mean, Jared Timms, thank you again for coming on. I know I bother you all the time to join us between the Chalk Lines podcast, where it's always we'll talk all the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Of course.